You're listening to the Tumbling Saber Podcast, a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. Check us out on the web at starwarscommonwealth.com, on iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter, and take your first step into a larger world.
You've passed the first test. Once we begin, there's no turning back. Got it? Follow my lead. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back one more time to the Bridge of Transmissions. This is our 6th transmission. I'm Kyle.
I'm Corey.
Bonjour, je m'appelle M.
Whoa! With some feeling this time, Em. How you doing?
Well, I've been sick with the flu, so...
Are you going to use like hockey player flu-like symptoms, or just the straight-up flu?
Like, it's funky, so...
Oh. Well, I'm glad we're doing this by Skype.
Yeah, me too.
You can keep it with you.
Yeah, I had ginger tea, so I should be okay for the next 12 hours, but then I'll be back under the bed again, so...
Why don't you stay in the bed?
I don't like that.
You don't have to go under the bed, Em. That's
Well-
what the bed
well,
is
you
for.
know,
You go in the
Okay,
bed.
under the blankets.
There you go.
Oops.
Corey, you sound half asleep over there. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. I'm kind of sad that Rebels is over for a bit now.
Aw.
Plus
That's why
with
we're
that-
we're here. We're here to
That's
talk
why
about
that
Rebels.
That cliffhanger, man. Like, what are they gonna do to her?
Well, let's not bury the lead here, Em. We got a
So-
whole episode to unpack before we get to the end.
Oh, sorry. It's just the end is very, very important for the next season to the next part of the season to finish.
Yeah, well, you know what? Since we just spoiled the whole thing, well, we'll say goodnight. Thank you everybody for listening to Bridge of Transmissions. We find you on Twitter.
Come on, man.
No, we don't have to go through the whole thing.
I know.
Before we start, Em, you picked up a special purchase with your cousin.
Oh yeah, we did. We really scored pretty. We got the Ahsoka holographic pop. Oh my God, she's such a beauty.
Nice, good score.
I can't actually express how much I was, looking forward to this and the amount of thought they put into it. And so my cousin and I, we both did a unboxing reveal, and the video isn't up yet, or the project hasn't officially started on YouTube, but we have called this channel that we're going to start called Geeky Savage.
Geeky
so-
Savage. I like that.
Geeky Savage.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And I just, like, the glow in the dark is like, wow, I can't wait to sleep tonight because I can just stare at the lovely holographic glow
Very cool.
and comfortably have her while I see Ahsoka live.
Well, we're running out of time for that, but we'll get there too. So all right, we're here. We're gonna break down the ninth episode in the 4th and final season of Rebels. This is Rebel Assault. We are past the halfway point. This is all very bittersweet. So let's just start unpacking this sucker. And we saw a lot of this stuff in teasers and sneak previews on Rebels Recon and whatnot, but that opening shot of the episode was so cool. Just that single tiny TIE fighter just kind of panning across space, and then we pan over to the
Bam,
massive
bam, bam.
Imperial
Poof,
blockade.
poof, poof.
Star Destroyers, cruisers. It was a sight to behold in the orbit above Lothal.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, you got to figure at that point that they can't just be defending the TIE Defenders at that point, Like, there's something, like that we've always said, there's more there.
They're defending whatever. Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet what's going on with Lothal, what Palpatine finds so massively important there. But was this a defensive thing for that purpose, or was this a trap?
Oh, you know what? Thrawn would, after they left with those TIE Defender blueprints, there was no way that they were going to, like, just go unprepared, right? They knew they were going to come back.
Yeah, he knows Hera way too well at this point. Like he was definitely, you're right, he was setting a trap.
Now,
For sure.
they all had to know they were kind of walking into a little bit of a trap, right? Could the rebellion have spared no, like, capital ships of their own? Not even one?
What good would it have done against that kind of
Yeah.
firepower, you know?
Think about it. There were like what, 7 or 8 capital ships?
More than that, there was
Oh,
like
yeah,
all kinds
I
of
mean, so
others
7
and-
Star Destroyers and a bunch of lighter cruisers and some Titans. It was yeah, they were badly outmatched, but just as a show of support, my goodness. 24 rebel fighters, go ahead.
Yeah.
I guess, well, in a way, it kind of echoes A New Hope, right? No capital
I
ships went
guess.
up against the Death Star. It was like, all right, just send a
Yeah,
bunch
too-
of X-Wings up there.
They're too big of a target, really. Like, there's no point.
Revenge of the Jedi, wow. That's pretty low for me. Return of the Jedi, they did have what, a couple like like big ships?
There's
Sorry,
some
my
Mon
brain
Calamari
is-
cruisers, some
Yeah.
medical frigates and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, they were still, again, badly outmatched. But that was sort of the battle to end all battles.
You
as far
almost
as we
sound
knew.
like the World War One, where I think it was the war to end all wars. So
Oops.
you
Yeah.
you were walking that line. My history side needed to say something about that.
Anyway, so
But seriously though,
this
how about
cold-
these X-wings, man? Like the color palette of them. Like Harris had a little tinge of green on the orange. Like even the helmets of the other pilot, like these new pilots that we're seeing, was part of Phoenix Squadron. So cool.
Mart.
I
Yeah, I
didn't even
can't
know that
believe-
was Mart Matten until
Oh,
he was
I
mentioned
knew.
by name. I had no idea.
Yeah, me too.
I totally knew. I even knew when I saw the trailer. I'm like, is that Matt? Matt. Is that Mart? Like, no.
I don't know. Sometimes the faces are just too generic for me, and I paid no mind. They also grew him up a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they aged him a bit. And plus, he looked pretty grown up in that rebel outfit.
Yeah. I mean, his hair is covered up, his face is kind of crunched up with that visor. But yeah, no, I'm glad to see him back. Although it is strange that he's just sort of there. Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys about the X-wings. We've been dying to see these things. It's been a while.
I have the same gripe, kind of.
Like they just showed up. Oh look,
Yeah.
X-wings. Like
Yeah,
should
you
they
definitely
have-
think there would have been. Yeah, like it's the
How could
first
they
time in
acquire
canon.
them,
Technically, if you look at the chronological timeline of things, it's the first time they're coming into action. So you'd think they're.
Well, you would
I
think
don't
that maybe they would have mentioned them. Like Dodonna could have said, "Hey, why don't you take the new squadron of X-wings we just got?" I mean, obviously they were with some other rebel cell, or they just got them. You would think they would have made some kind of, even just a hint, just to tease us, to say, why don't you take the new squadron of ships we just received from blah blah blah, whatever hangar, whatever factory pumps them out, and we would have been like, "Oh, X-wings," but instead it was just like they just popped out of hyperspace, and it was like. Of course, like I pumped my fist. My kids were like, X-wings! But when you step back and think about it for a sec, you go, well, that's kind of bizarre. Why didn't they just... Well, anyway, I guess that qualifies as a nitpick, right?
Yeah, but I had the same one a little too.
And also, here's another nitpick. The cannons sounded just like the Ghost nose gun.
Yeah. Also, there was something else that bugged me was that Hera, they called her General. Why didn't we see that on
Mhm.
screen?
Uh-huh. That's my biggest gripe. I've got that highlighted and turned into red in my notes here. Why is... Cause I just to make sure I wasn't going crazy, I went back and watched Crawler Commandeers, and Dodonna refers to her as Captain. So what happened here? Did we miss a promotion, or have the writers screwed up? Because now she's suddenly General Syndulla when she was Captain Syndulla last week.
No, I think again, hopefully they'll explain it. Just give us a little thing like the X-wings, but I would think the mission she accomplished in Kindred kind of solidified that place. And again, we don't know the time span between her coming back to Yavin 4 and returning to Lothal.
I don't know. I'm not buying that. I think that's a bad miss. I think.
Oh yeah, you'd think they would, want to
At least in
highlight that moment.
At least mention that in Rebels Recon.
Yeah. They didn't even give us a new clip. I was like, what?
Oh, that didn't surprise me. That didn't surprise me at all. But it did surprise me that they didn't even mention, hey, Hera's a general now. Like, Pablo, how did that happen? And then it could be very easily be what Corey just said. Oh, there's been some passage of time. You know, there's been a week or two since we left them off in Crawler Commandeers, and you know, Kane and Ezra and that group have been prepping on Lothal while Hera readies the assault on her end, gathering the X-wings, etc. And she got promoted to general as well. That would have been a nice note to at least to acknowledge that yes, this happened. Instead, you know, we noticed it, but I haven't seen anybody talking about this.
Oh wait, no. Remember Crawl Commanders that when they were talking, they had that conversation that the wings and I think she said wings and bombers were being prepped. So there was no time lapse between those two episodes.
Well, then that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So there had to have been, like, they were preparing the ground assault. Like, they had to have time to do that.
M's right, though. They said that, yeah, we're prepping the bombers and we're getting ready now. Like, they're on their way, unless it's like a 2-week flight, which is a little bit absurd. No, that's a big swing and miss for me on the Rebels crew.
Oh, it is triple for me.
I'd say that this is the most like critical episode that we're picking on because there were so many hit and misses.
There were a few things that fell through the cracks here, and I think this is sort of inevitable as they race towards the end here, that some things are going to get missed, unfortunately. Yeah. Like maybe there's a scene that they have somewhere where they do have that promotion to general, and they're just like, we got to get this in 22 minutes. That has to go. It doesn't fit. Anyway.
Yeah, it would have been nice. They should have maybe saved that toward the end of the season.
Well, yeah, I would think. She gets promoted to general at the end of the season. You know, things might be going really badly for her, but hey, you're a general in the rebellion now. How's that? But anyway,
either way,
this is an episode to celebrate Hera. Like her badassery was on full display.
Yeah, Hera's a goddess, man. Like just the way she handled that X-wing.
Hera is a goddess.
Yep.
She is so badass, and I give highest praise to Vanessa. She just nailed it with the voice acting this episode. It was, you know, her bravery, her sacrifice, her leadership. It's just so inspirational.
Yeah, it's showing through.
No, she yeah. Wasn't it Vanessa Marshall's birthday on Monday as well?
I thought it was like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Where
I don't
have
know.
you been?
I live in a time warp, so you know things are very weird for me all the time.
Dude, she smokes Scarus, like right away. He picks her out of the crowd right away. Like she just nails these two guys, like boom, boom.
Actually,
like Syndulla.
My friend was so upset that Scarus got killed, and it wasn't really because of Hera. It was because of Thrawn.
Yeah, these Imperials they're just dumb.
You know what?
He's had another Constantine moment where one of his subordinates didn't listen.
I think at this point, the Imperial command is falling apart. You see, Price and Thrawn are pulling at each other. You could see her just stunned reaction, yelling at Thrawn. Like, who yells at Thrawn, right?
Well, yeah, she thinks that he reports to her. And he obviously thinks he reports directly to the Emperor, and that's it. And you know she's not happy about Rook hanging around.
No, she's definitely not. And in all opinion, I'm not either. I don't like him.
I don't like him
not
either.
Because he's bad. It's just because this little shriveled gray thing just prowling the streets of Lothal. Ugh.
No, he looks like a bunch of like rotting grapes. I don't like him.
Yes, thank you. I'm not.
I kind of like the character. Like I'm totally on the same page, but he's creepy, man. Like right off the bat, like getting back to like the story, like the fleet comes down like in a ball of fire. I was like, whoa, like that's not good. I guess they're not accomplishing their mission. It's turned into a rescue mission.
How will Ezra respond? I'm curious, because now that's the second time that 2 attacks have failed.
Yeah, well, I mean, the odds are really stacked against them. But I was pretty surprised that they didn't even get close to the fuel depot or whatever it was. And
Oh yeah, they didn't get. For one hot minute there, I thought maybe Hera outsmarted Thrawn and Scarus in breaking through the blockade, only to realize that Thrawn had that second wave, so he had things well in hand the whole time.
yeah, I thought so too at a point. But she did wreak some serious damage, man. And man, what a
Well, yeah,
set of piloting skills.
she took out a cruiser and a star destroyer.
Yeah, by herself.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
incredible.
much by herself, which was great to see. But that next visual, well, we see them kind of break through into atmosphere, and they're just swarmed with dozens of TIE fighters. And as great as Hera is, she's not a Mary Sue. She's not going to
Yeah.
outduel 50 TIE fighters, so you knew that wasn't going to end well. She's lucky to have survived a crash, but yeah, that we saw that visual, right, in one of the trailers with all of the damaged rebel fighters plunging towards the city. Like that was a pretty stunning and foreboding look. Like you just realize, oh god, this whole thing has failed.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh boy. And then, the crew saw it too, and they were like, oh crap.
'Cause, yeah,
And
'cause I
Kanan, that's
thought-
like Kanan reverted to like Ezra after that in a way. Like he just lost his mind in a way. Like he couldn't get his composure because it was Hera, right? And then finally kind of calmed himself.
Yeah, there's a little bit of role reversal going on there, I think. And we talked about that a bit last week, where Ezra is the guy with the poise and the plan now.
Oh yeah. Did you see how he handled Sabine? Like, wow. She's speaking against, and he's like, no, this is what we're doing. Let's go.
Yeah, Ezra is definitely stepping to the fore. And he'd been tried to do that many times over the course of the series, just to fall flat on his face. But now he's showing a little more judgment and refinement, which is obviously good. Good character arc, good progression there. But things are going to come crashing to a very sudden halt very soon.
Hey, when in doubt, follow the white Lothcat.
Yeah. Good one.
So back with Hera. After Kanan kind of loses his mind, and we find out that Rook has been dispatched to capture whoever's left, especially Hera, bring her back if possible. But you knew, like, as she's sneaking out of the city, trying to get back to her comrades, that the minute she heard that distress call coming from Mart's droid, the minute she heard that and turned around and decided to go back, this is like a Star Wars trope now. Going back to help means you're going to get yourself into deep trouble. If she had just continued and said, I have a job to do, I need to get myself out of here, she probably would have been okay. But she decided to go help, and it cost her.
It cost R3 as well. Poor little bugger.
Well, he was toast. He was toast anyway.
Yeah, he was toasted.
I hope they
Sad.
like retrieve him and resurrect him, because he's like a good, like not like enemy, maybe frenemy of Chopper.
Did they destroy him? Like, it seems like they disabled him rather than destroyed him.
No,
Yeah.
they put like a whole, I think it was 3 shots into him.
But it wasn't like typical red stormtrooper blaster bolts.
It was, but didn't seem as though it did a lot of damage.
Like, he seemed to sizzle more than explode. So in my mind, it was like they just shut him down the same way the Jawas kind of shut down R2. In a similar way, not the same way. I gotta pick my words carefully.
Either way, let's get to, Hera finds Mart. They start trying to escape. They got to find the tunnels, back to the tunnels of Lothal, the sewers. And Rook is just hot on their trail, this creepy little bastard.
Wouldn't you think by now, how many times have the rebels used the sewer systems of Lothal as like conduits for their communications, their missions, their getaways? Wouldn't you think by now the Empire would have like completely shut down all underground sewage for that type of activity?
Well, I think they had.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think they hadn't thought they had their bases covered with all those, the ATST, the
Standing right on
troopers
top
there.
of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to like maybe they just sort of filled all those things up with like, I don't know, expandable foam or something.
Maybe they're still necessary. But either way, like, that's the plan. kind of a bit of a low-hanging fruit plan, but it's gonna fail. So Rook gets on their case, and man, how well did Hera handle herself in hand-to-hand combat?
Oh
Just
man. Oh.
I was enjoying that. Like, she was kicking ass and taking names. Like, dude, she had the moves like Jagger.
Do you ever stop to question saying, man, she's like a perfectly skilled fighter and a perfect pilot and a perfect leader and a perfect mom.
Goddess.
Is she a little too perfect sometimes?
A perfect girlfriend, I guess. Whatever you call what Canera is going on.
Hernan.
Well, Kanan, I think, would beg to differ, but
One more thing I wanted to say about the sewage is that I pointed it out actually back in the occupation is because, Thrawn knows Sabine Starbird, right? So I'm wondering why he couldn't maybe set a trap in those sewage systems where they could capture those rebels, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is because reasons. The rebels need to have some way to conduct
win.
their activities, and that's going to be the Empire's blind spot when it comes to Lothal. They just never took care of those sewers. All right, so we see Kanan. They're speeding away from the city. Ryder, Ezra, Zeb, Chopper, not Chopper, Sabine, and Kanan. They're heading out of the city, going to regroup with whoever they're hanging out with, and Kanan has a sudden and abrupt change of heart that he has to go back. And I wonder if he was thinking back to season 1 when Hera decided to go rescue him when he was captured by the Inquisitor. If he's thinking about that, I need to go back and repay that favor. She would do it for me. I got to do it for her. So away he goes, and he's interrupted by the Lothwolf. And this time, I keep my subtitles on now. He didn't say Doom as in D-U-M-E. It was the straight up classic Webster dictionary definition of Doom. D-O-O-M.
God damn you, Filoni. That's intense. I didn't, bro, I haven't heard that passed around on the net either yet. Ooh, boy.
Well, I haven't followed a lot of the chatter about this episode, to be honest with you, but I think by now people should be watching with subtitles on because that's important.
Yeah, and you know what
gives you
the
the
crazy
context.
part is? Kanan says to the wolf, I understand. Like, he's speaking his language now almost. It seems like Kanan, after all this time, he's been kind of searching for answers, meditating because he knows something's lurking in the near future. And it looks like he's come to terms with what exactly it is he needs to do to save Lothal, his friends, Hera.
What do you think it is that he understands? What is this wolf trying to tell him? Because I'll be honest, I got nothing. I have no clue.
Could be self-sacrifice. I don't know. That sounds like low-hanging fruit, or
that's twice
you
said
hate
that
hearing
now.
that.
You've hit your quota.
I know you hate that, but honestly, like,
you're gonna get poor
what
Rob Williams drunk.
What have you come here for? Doom, D-U-M-E. Now it's D-O-O-M. Like, they're there for him for some reason, and I think in the long run he's leaving with them somehow. If it's not Ezra, it could be both of them. But I don't think Kanan's path is with the wolves.
We've already had 9 episodes, and it's so brilliant where we really don't get answers on how this is gonna end.
No.
We only know Hera survived because we see her in Forces of Destiny. So they rescue her somehow.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like this, we know that Hera gets captured, and I don't know if anybody was expecting. I mean, it's one of these episodes where you're looking at your watch and going, does anybody have a watch anymore? Does anybody here wear a watch?
Well, I do all the time, so
everybody's looking at the time, going, "There's like 3 minutes left. There's no time for a Hera rescue mission. Oh my god, is this where it ends?" So we get the cliffhanger ending, which is kind of a weak cliffhanger in my opinion, because we know that she's going to get out of this. We hear her name in Rogue One, right? Like,
yeah.
So
we see her on the door. So
that left me a little bit cold. Like I found that a weak cliffhanger. I thought a more effective way to handle it would have been to let Kanan plunge ahead with his plan a little further. And I don't know what his plan is. Maybe they couldn't do that, but let Kanan start his plan, which maybe could have been or will be him heading straight into a suicide mission and then ending the episode going, oh, jeez, this is not going to end well for Kanan. And then that's where we leave off for the next, I don't know, several weeks, couple months. Corey, what did you think? Good cliffhanger, bad cliffhanger?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, the only thing that my only one gripe is that it wasn't exactly as climactic as I had expected. Kanan's presence really kind of multiplied things a bit, but Hera being captured, no big surprise. We knew it was coming. We seen it in the previews. They pretty much spelled it out for us. But yeah, it looks like Kanan has gone rogue, man. Like he's not going to let anyone take Hera from him. Not necessarily from him, but from life.
I feel like Kanan's been rogue for a while. Like, we know he's not into the rebellion. We know he's just kind of hanging around. You know
I
what
get
I mean?
you
Like,
there.
He's
One of my
gonna do what
favorite
he wants
moments.
to do.
One of my favorite moments in Rebels ever is, kid, I'm about to let everyone in on the secret. Like, I think it's first episode.
Yep. Spark of rebellion. Did you have a point there?
Well, he's been rogue since he gave up Caleb Doom, really. Space cowboy.
Yeah. And this episode, like, when I was expecting a cliffhanger, if it wasn't going to be with wolves or with anything else, it was going to be with Hera. So to see how, it now unfold, like, and there's also a couple things that in the trailer we didn't see in these first 9 episodes. So maybe we got little tidbits of hints of what's coming up in the next half.
I'm pretty good at that. I'm gonna have to double check that because I was almost convinced. I haven't seen the trailers in, I'd say, at least a good 2 to 3 months, but I definitely watched them both a lot. I'm gonna have to go back and check exactly what wasn't shown in this part of the series.
That saying, we were meant to be Jedi, so where Lothal needed us most. And
That's true.
then we have Tarkin talking with Thrawn about this TIE Defender project at risk.
Was that not in one of the first episodes?
No.
No, you're right. But there was a Tarkin Thrawn conversation, wasn't there?
No. This is all my memory.
Oh, Thrawn. Who did Thrawn speak to in the season premiere?
Fake Gar Saxon, as you call him.
Yes. Okay. Good call. I'm glad somebody here has like a steel trap memory, because it ain't me.
Well,
what was Gar Saxon's brother's name again?
Tiber, whatever. Fake Gar Saxon, as Kyle calls him.
I like that.
Fakey. We're gonna call him Fakey. Next time you get a Lothcat, call him Fakey for me, okay?
No.
Wait, that's one of the that's an expendable character if there ever was one.
Oh yeah, he's already done for. I mean, I don't know if he's dead, but I think we're done with him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm this former character who was a douchebag's brother.
Wait, are we talking about Tibber?
Yeah.
He did die. Didn't that Star Destroyer he was on explode?
Oh yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, he's barbecue, man.
The Saxon clan or family is no more.
Not unless that captain that ran away is a Saxon. So maybe the Saxon clan lives with one person.
So this season ends, or the mid-season finale ends with a close-up on the wolf's face, and it just sort of fades out. And I was like, that's it? Like, it left me feeling a little bit cold. I thought the episode was really good, and even though we kind of suspected Hera was going to go down here and get captured, I thought that scene was really effective. The way she was cut off from her escape route, the way Mart and Chopper had to abandon her. I thought that was all super well done, despite knowing the eventuality of her rescue and promotion to general, or hearing her as general in Rogue One. But that being said, I don't know. I'll jump the gun. I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 on 10. I was hoping for a little bit better, despite some of the exciting scenes and the introduction of X-Wings. I was hoping for a little bit more. What do you guys give it?
I'm
Oh,
giving
before-
it. I'm giving
before-
it an
I
8.
couldn't believe. Sorry, but I couldn't believe how Price shot or stunned Hera. I was like, what? Oh,
Well, we're so
Yeah,
used
she-
to the Imperials dithering around and just talking and wasting time, and then, the rebels got away. This time she just got right down to it. Oh, I've been waiting for this. Boom.
Yeah,
and I like
That's
how
the way it should be.
Hera's got this bravado of, even though she's got the worst situation ever for a general, she still puts on this courage of heart and just makes a little joke at Price. So,
And,
Hera's confident,
Price
man.
had a sick burn too. Such a small victory, and then stuns her. That's
well,
a
at least
sick
she did it.
burn.
Like, I kind of like to see that on Price's part, to be honest. Like, I like to no mess around type
Well,
when
yeah,
it comes
I
to
mean,
Imperials.
if Imperials all acted the way Price did in that situation, this series would have ended in season 1.
yeah.
Seriously, how many times have these rebels been captured with guns at their heads and they somehow get out of it? It's like Walking Dead style.
Ugh, I hate that show. So.
Oh man. Okay, so we're done with this. What about our first half highlights? Do we need to talk about that today? You want to talk about that another time?
Yeah, let's do it another time because
Yeah.
honestly, that takes a little bit of preparation.
All right.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
fair
and
enough.
and how I'd rate this, how I do it, but is like character dialogue, music, plot, and animation. But character dialogue was a little less and it wasn't so rich. So, music was okay, plot was just okay, and animation was the best part about it all because remember the wave of TIE fighters coming in and those clouds? It was like, wow.
Oh, the space combat, the dogfighting sequences
Yeah.
were the best part of this episode for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, they nailed the
So-
X-Wings. If you watch Rebels Recon, it echoed everything that I was kind of feeling as I watched the episode. You know, how they were getting the herky jerkiness of the X-Wing right, the camera shakes with the cockpit. It was just
Knowing that, even just the opening
Perfect.
scene is very reminiscent of A New Hope when
Yep.
they're opening the S-foils,
Yep, it was they had all these little tiny little details which all point back to Battle of Yavin. Or
So
forward.
maybe I'd rate this at it's maybe a 7.8 or 9.
At 7.
it kinda dropped-
Okay. All right,
it
you're
kinda
between me and
dropped
Corey.
Yeah. What's Corey's? Come on.
Corey
I
was
said
an
it.
8.
I like
You
just
said
solid
it.
numbers, 8. I think the plot was strong. Like for a season or mid-season finale, it could have made things a little more dramatic. Like Kyle said, the general thing with Hera. I'd like to see more on that. The X-wing unveil. God, it's such a glorious moment in this franchise. I would have liked to see it be a little recognized more. But the dogfighting, you guys nailed it. Like the initial space battle is something I love that stuff, and they just nailed it visually. Super stunning, and the story was to be what it was. I mean, they can't do so much in 22 minutes, right? Hera was on the run. We got the gist that Kanan is kind of going after, and the Loth Wolves. Like that's just the mystery is still there. Like. We have absolutely no idea what's going on with these Loth Wolves will do, but hopefully Kanan does now as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we now know that at least part of the second half of the season will be formed by Hera's rescue. Whether that takes half an hour or a full hour to get accomplished, maybe more, we don't know. But like so much has to happen in a really short time coming up. Think about it, like. There's
7
6
episodes. 7
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah, that's
I had
what,
mentioned
2
this here
hours-
as
2 hours and 20 minutes of programming, and they still have to wrap up Kanan, Ezra, Sabine, Zeb. All that stuff needs to be dealt with in 2 hours, and we haven't touched Ahsoka yet.
Yeah, I'm shocked actually about that. And not unless the last episode, the very last one, is 45 minutes long. I would dig that heavily because I would want that really bad. But now I'm hoping that Dave doesn't give us, 2 episodes a week because then we're gonna be by fast, and I
Hope we
want
finished in
to save
March.
it now. This
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Hopefully it doesn't. But regardless, like X-wings, it looks like the entire squadron crashed. We know Ezra and company are already stranded on Lothal by choice, but now it looks like they're all stranded on Lothal. And I said this prior that I think the whole season will be taking place on Lothal. And I think at this point, that's where we're pointing. I don't see us going anywhere else. There's nothing more important than what is going on here and now in this series. And I don't think we're going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it logically, the series needs to end on Lothal. They're already there. There's no time to wrap this part up, go have adventures elsewhere, and then come back to Lothal. So I think you're right, Corey. I think we're there to stay.
There
But the
to
next-
stay.
the next episode is called Allegiances. So why, like, maybe they go off the planet, go talk to a few planets, get them coming back and fighting for Lothal.
There could be, I don't know, maybe there's somebody who can rally the troops using a Bridget transmission.
Oh man, yeah, sure.
You know what? Lothal used to be that outpost, right? Weren't his parents like underground ham radio operators, like broadcasting out into space, calling for
Sure.
rebellion against the Empire? Maybe somebody else picks up that mantle. Even though the Empire is jamming everything, maybe they
I'm
find a way.
I'm praying that they maybe bring some Mandalorians onto Lothal.
Well, they need help. That is
Yeah.
obvious. They need help because it looks like the rebellion is only going to be so effective against the Empire in this scenario.
You know, it might not be a Rogue One scenario, but I could see this also being a moment where the rebellion kind of bands together and, you know, they take a chance on fate. They believe in something because Hera sends out a transmission, or they manage to reach headquarters on Yavin 4 and explain the plight and what they're planning to do, and, you know, help us or not, we're doing it. And it could be the fleet just shows up last minute, like boom, 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 out of hyperspace, and it's just like, madness everywhere.
Well, that would be a loss for the rebellion. It would have to be, because if you think of the opening crawl to A New Hope, that the rebellion has just had its first victory against the Empire, and they're referring to Scarif.
Now let's Scarif but we know that Lothal and Scarif aren't.
It wouldn't
no.
be such on such a grand scale either, I would think. Like, you know, they band together.
Well, if the rebellion is able to topple Thrawn's plans on Lothal, that would be a major victory. So I don't think
it's the
Lothal.
crew. I think it's this crew that's going to accomplish that. But I could see the fleet or Amon Mothma and Lee sending someone for these people to kind of help them, just to get them off planet once. You know, believing in them, saying like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This is the plan. Believe in us. Help us. If you don't help us, we don't care." But once all said and done, and they've actually won, like, they'll be there. Even if they did, I can't see Rex and Callus sitting the season out either. You know what I mean?
And we're going to see Gregor and Wolf.
Are we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Are you sure?
What? Yeah,
No?
it's been confirmed.
Oh.
I'm Gregor.
I can
call me
imagine
Gregor.
another small like infiltration team. I don't envision the whole rebellion showing up to Lothal. Maybe they do, but I don't see that going very well. But yeah, Em, you're right.
Oh yeah, that's it. Callus and Rex, they must go and enlist Gregor and Wolf and say like, "Your time is now to shine, my brothers."
Typical Corey.
They got to do something, right? They got to do, like, somebody's got to do something, and I don't know that it's going to be the rebellion at large. These guys they're fence sitters at this point. It takes an awful lot just to get them to okay an attack. So I don't know that they're going to be gung ho to send the whole fleet to rescue the rebels. I think Mon Mothma is more likely to say they've made their choice and may the force be with them.
And she said, like, in the beginning of Occupation, like, we don't think we can extract you. So, I wholeheartedly believe she'll say no.
Well, not necessarily, because Hera kind of completed that original mission, right? Like, she came back with the data recorder, and
Oh, right. That too.
so
True
it kind
that.
of nullifies that. It's like new mission, new parameters.
Well, obviously we'll find out, but I don't know. I look at that opening crawl to A New Hope. I can if the rebellion to me it swings a couple ways. If the rebellion shows up at Lothal, they get their heinies whooped. They can't win, otherwise Scarif wouldn't be considered the rebellion's like first victory. That's the way I'm looking at it. And well, lastly here, guys, with episodes left, 22 minutes per episode. Well, what the finale being 45 minutes. That's we're talking just under 3 hours left of programming. I said 2 before. Excuse me. It's about closer to 3 hours. But our list here of cameos, you know, we rattled off like nearly 20 people that we expect or we're talking about. Would we see these people in season 4? We are running at a racetrack here, and so far we have not seen a single one of the people that we mentioned. Not one.
No.
It's
I
looking
don't think they're
bleak
going to be
here,
so
guys.
focused on that.
I mean, I'll just run down the list quickly, just for those who maybe are new to the show. But we ran around the table here: Ahsoka, Kenobi, Vader, Emperor, the Inquisitors, Bendu, Jyn Erso, Cassian and K2, Chirrut and Baze, Galen Erso and Orson Krennic, Ray Sloane, Boba Fett or other notable bounty hunters, Biggs, Porkins, Akbar, Raddus, Maydeen, the Death Star, and we threw in also Commander Cody. We have seen 0 of these people.
Come on, Dave.
I think
Come
it's just
on.
a representation of what they're trying to accomplish this season. Like there's that stuff that's fan service in a way. Like if it doesn't fit the story that they're trying to tell right now, let's not try and squeeze it in. It'd be nice if you can fit maybe 1 or 2 references or whatever, but you know, it's not at the fore. It's not what they're really trying to accomplish here.
Well, Krennic is definitely just a name cameo. He won't make an appearance.
I agree.
So.
I mean, we got the Kyber crystals, we got Krennic. You know, it's those are some nice little references.
Yeah, well, I think Filoni's kind of maybe closing ranks a little bit. And, we keep saying Filoni. He's kind of taken a step back. I mean, he's still supervising. He's still the head honcho. But there's other people directing and writing these episodes for the most part now. So I don't know these people by name. We always just talk about Filoni. But
I think Matt Martin's a writer, is he? Henry Gilroy, too?
Sure. Absolutely.
Pablo's definitely a writer.
Like, there's another guy now who is occupying Filoni's role. And I can't remember his name. As just like the everyday showrunner. I'm going to try and Google it, so bear with me here.
There's also someone else.
Well, a lot of the crew that's working on this is like I watch. It's crazy how much they've aged as well. But between the Clone Wars and Rebels, like it's his posse or whatever. You know what I mean? It's his crew that he's worked with for so long.
Absolutely.
There's also Carrie Beck, I think her name is.
I see her on the credits of every episode.
Yeah, Stephen Melching. He's all over
Yeah.
this show. Stuart Lee. He directed Rebel Assault. And of course, I'm having trouble finding that one dude's name who is kind of the everyday guy in this now. He was on, they had him on Rebels Recap at one point. Rebels Recon. It's not Simon Kinberg. I don't know, maybe somebody out there can fill us in, but yeah, interesting stuff about to happen in the final 7 episodes. Crazy stuff coming down. It's drawn to a close quickly, guys.
And I think it's now like time for some. We've got a couple listener comments, and they're pretty lengthy. That's why I've only chose 2. So one from Shyla Miller. And this is her little lengthy paragraph from right on the Britter Transmissions Facebook page. So it was a good episode. I really liked when Hera fought the assassin. Who knew she was so good in hand-to-hand combat? I really liked seeing her fight. I loved how she dealt with the TIE Defender, right? That was awesome. I liked how Kanan showed up at the end to help the pilot too. I didn't like how Kanan said he could do something to help Hera at the end of the episode, though. It gives me a bad feeling. And what's up with the wolf always saying doom? Does he want Kanan to reveal himself to the Empire or something? Anyway, can't wait till the next.
Well,
Cheers
I think
to that.
the lesson to be learned there is like Kyle and do watch my subtitles because I haven't done that yet. And man,
It's very helpful. It's very helpful in these instances. Is
Indeed.
it Caleb Doom or is it, end of the
Doom,
world Doom?
We're at the end of the world here. Lothal's not looking too good. But you know what? Oh, in Battlefront 2, in the campaign, they did mention Lothal. And they mentioned Ezra, not in a way of like saying it's Ezra Bridger, but Lando said to Luke that he reminded him of some rebel that he met way back.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember seeing that today. That's a pretty cool little tip of the cap.
Yeah, so we know Lothal maybe like survives, but as in like the state of the planet, maybe not so much.
That would be sad. Anyway, I found the name, Justin Ridge.
Yeah, him too.
But is he still around? I mean, he's kind of credited as supervising director, which was Filoni's role. But when I look at his credits, there's nothing in this season that we can attribute to him. Twin Suns and 0 Hour Part 1 and 2. That is the last thing I can see attributed to him. So I don't know if he's left the show. But he was the guy at one point. Anywho,
we have one more comment.
Oh,
This is also a lengthy one too. So I'll try to keep my throat and spit it all out. For last night's episode, I was so happy to finally see X-Wings in Rebels. I was 4 when Star Wars New Hope came out and saw it in the theater with my sister. So for me, it was like being a kid again. Love X-Wings. Then there's Governor Price. For me, this was as awesome as I cosplayed both Hera and Price. I was a bit hoping for the cat fight between the two, but this was so awesome to see, as I love both characters, so it was a bit mixed feelings after for me. I started with Hera in Season 1 cosplaying her, then Price. Both are very strong female characters. We know Hera makes it out, but Price's fate is not known yet. I have a feeling she's getting killed by the wolves. Thrawn, well, I know he lives. Plus, Thrawn is just too sexy to die.
oh no.
LOL. Plus, we know that they're doing books and now rumors of a TV or movie. But there is a comic book coming out. So, as for Kanan being stopped by a white wolf, I think that Kanan and Hera will not have any more time together. I think he's going to die saving her. It's going to be a huge tear fest, bringing the tissues for the last episodes. It's going all Game of Thrones now. And that is from Melissa Small, who is not far from where I live, and she is part of the Canadian 501st, where they just, meet up and just be the Empire.
Wow. Well, thank you, Melissa. There's really not much in there I can disagree with. And I fear that maybe she's right about Kanan, that he's going to go on this suicide mission to save Hera. He's going to rescue her or die trying. And I wonder if that's really Thrawn's plan. Aside from getting this thing up and running, these TIE Defender elites going, I wonder if really he's such an Emperor zealot. Like he's so loyal to the Emperor, and the Emperor's got to be concerned about these Jedi running around. I wonder if Thrawn's real mission is to draw out Ezra and or Kanan and get rid of them. Because we've talked about this in the last couple of weeks. What is Thrawn up to? He seems very quiet. He can't just be about TIE fighters.
All talk, no action.
He's just been very contemplative and quiet. And her piloting skills, that's a testament. Great. But really, we're not seeing his plan. What if it all snaps into action in the second half, and it revolves around ensnaring and killing off the Jedi? That could be very, very weighty and very nerve-wracking.
That's why I've said that Vader could possibly still have a role in this season, in the sense that we know that we have this Thrawn book coming out, this second novel called Alliances, and we have the next episode coming out called Allegiances. So maybe it could be tied in there.
That's a little connection.
I don't know. I just feel that like if we're gonna see the destruction of the Jedi, it's not going to be by Thrawn. It's going to be, at least aided by someone.
Hmm.
Well, I wonder if Thrawn could be the architect of his own destruction, so to speak. I don't, I think has it been confirmed that he makes it out of this?
Oh, and don't forget Bendy's calling. We should see something of that nature in Rebels. Like, it's specifically for Rebels. It should happen in Rebels.
Yeah. But again, we're running out of racetrack, right?
Yeah.
Just as
Yeah.
we're running out of racetrack in this here podcast, there we go with our
The
wrap
bombs
up.
dropped. Thanks, Kyle. You're such a party pooper.
Well, either way, Rebel Assault 2, like, doesn't that bring you back to the day, Kyle? Kyle and I, this is way before your time.
Are you kidding? I was DNA in my father. Okay,
Ah,
I
yeah.
saw it.
Rebel Assault?
I
The
was
video game?
no. Oh, maybe because my father played lots of video games too.
It was like back in the day, man, when like computers kind of had like a bit of a revolution. Like they just started getting quicker and quicker at one point. Like before, it was literally just like horrible. It was horrible, and then it
look,
just got good.
Okay. Blast Points, which is a podcast I really enjoy, they did an episode specifically about Rebel Assault 2, the video game. It was, at first, it was a blast from the past, and I got such a rush listening to that because I hadn't played that game or seen anything about it since I last played it in the mid-90s. And then I went on YouTube and watched some playthroughs. It is absolutely dreadful. And remember, Corey, when you and I were playing this, our
was
minds were
revolutionary.
blown.
Oh
Our
yeah,
minds were absolutely blown.
it was like computer graphics 486, man.
Well,
Oh,
no,
my
I think
God.
we'd advanced to like Pentium 2 by that point. But
Ooh.
still, check that out. Anybody else who maybe in their maybe teens now or early 20s, go hit YouTube and look at Rebel Assault 2 video game playthroughs. That was the bomb for us back then. And now it's just painful to look at. Even the story is it's hot garbage, man.
Like now I'm looking at Battlefront 2 and going, oh man, the graphics are stunning, which they really are.
Oh, it's insane.
Plus the campaign is definitely it's a Star Wars feely story. So I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend just go on YouTube, watch full campaign.
Are the
Even
cutscenes
story-
already there on
Yeah,
YouTube?
I watched
Oh,
it all.
man.
It was pretty good.
How long is it? But I'm hoping it's like an hour.
It's like 2 hours, like for the
Really?
cutscene. Yeah.
The cutscenes are 2 hours?
Yeah.
That's like a movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. That's amazing.
Like definite ties in for the Force Awakens and First Order. I'm trying not to spoil it, but I'm just like trying to give you the idea of how First Order came about.
Well, my wife and I we were discussing today, what do you want to do for each other for Christmas? Having kids around Christmas time gets really expensive, and we always end up hosting. Christmas is just such a pricey time for us. So what do you want to do for each other? And we just discussed maybe we should just buy ourselves a PS4 and not worry about gifts for each other. That'll be it. So we may have
Tell her I
Battlefront
agree.
2.
Tell her I agree, and then I'll book a ticket, and then I'll come and play with you.
I figure you're probably like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, I can get a train ticket and be there in like 2 hours.
No, I've taken the train recently. It's the quickest is like it's about a 4-hour ride by train.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's actually kind of fun. You get to sit back, listen to some podcasts, whatever, mess around on your phone, nap, drink.
All right, guys, let's punch our way out of here. Corey, where can we find you on Twitter?
Jesus, man.
I
Find
forgot.
me.
I forgot. We talked about
Zed,
this just the other
please.
day.
Please be Canadian tonight.
I'll say it nice. You can find me at Chop Rules with a Z.
Yes.
And M, where can we find you on the old Twitter machine?
You can find me at email52.
And you're
Malum?
also doing a fabulous job running that Facebook page, the Bridger Transmissions Facebook page.
Well, I've slowed down a bit due to, life, but like with the Lothcat, I've kind of slowed down at the moment because like I have so many assignments for English.
Hey, life gets in the way, man. I totally get that.
So, like, when I wake up, I'm not thinking about photos. I'm thinking about, I've got to write this essay. It's due today. What are you going to do?
You got to do your homework. That's it. That's all. And I'm at Tumbling Saber on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Come say hello. Love to talk Star Wars with you. And that'll do it, guys. We are out of here, and we'll be back. We have no firm schedule to when we're going to be back with Bridge of Transmissions number 7, but keep your ear to the ground. Keep your eyes on that Facebook page, on our Twitter feeds. We'll give you plenty of notice, and we'll if you have any ideas what you want us to talk about, reach out to us on any of those platforms. Let us know. Surely once that mid-season trailer drops, we will be on it like white on rice, and we'll be breaking that down for you. But I think we do want to do a couple episodes between now and Rebels Return, which we still have no indication when that's back. Andy Gutierrez said, a few weeks, which that could mean anything between 3 and 10 weeks, as far as I'm concerned.
Please don't say that. But as always, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you indeed. And we'll just take this one last moment to direct your attention to our Patreon campaign, Become a Powerful Friend. We're on the drive to 30 powerful friends. That's what we need to cover our costs and really, really send the Tumbling Saber property flying through the roof. So head over to patreon.com/tumblingsaber. $2 to $3 a month gets you exclusive podcasts, early access to other podcasts, entry into our monthly giveaways, and a whole lot more. The more people we can get involved, the better we're all going to be. And so that's it, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this first half season of Bridge of Transmissions, and we can't wait to get back into the chair to break down the mid-season trailer, and then finally the final 7 episodes of Rebels. Man, what a ride it has been. What a ride it's going to be as we race towards the finish line. So thanks once again for listening, and we'll catch you later.